What is up, everyone? Welcome to this client spotlight series that is gonna blow your mind. I have my client Angie here, who is going to share how she went from being on a dry spell to creating $65,000 in sales inside of the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. Every time I talk to her, she just gives me some brand new crazy milestone, like I have made in this quarter what I made last year. I have like made my money back like 10 times. So I'm like, what is happening? And she did three specific things that I want you guys to learn in order for you to get results like this. And so, Angie, welcome to this Client Spotlight series. Thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to introduce yourself for those of you who don't know you, who you are and what you do.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me, Juliana. So, my name is Angie Carlson. I'm a financial coach. I specialize in helping couples that know they've met their person and know it's till death do they part. And money's really that final hurdle holding them back from that dream relationship. And money's holding them back to the point that they sometimes wonder if their I do is better off being what if I can't. I help those couples with two things: experiencing less stress in their relationship and more money in the bank.
Badass. So good. So good. Okay, so let's talk about where were you at in your business before you joined so people have some context.
Yeah, so where I was in my business is I was signing clients here and there. I was seeing some results, and I was in a dry spell where it was just no's, specifically 50 no's in a row. Very discouraging, and it was just really hard. And I knew I was great at what I did, and obviously something was off,
Yeah.
and I wanted to find it.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so you were in a dry spell. You had 50 no's in a row. What is happening? I don't think I have even gotten 50 no's in a row. That tells me the resilience that built. And of course, also tells me that you were so committed to your results. And so what happened when you let's talk about like what inspired you to join the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind.
Yeah, what inspired me to join was when I left my job to come home and coach full time. I knew I didn't quite have enough to do prospecting, so I really wanted to focus on my writing, because what I saw in the financial coaching space is a lot of coaches write about, here are the benefits of a budget. This is impulse spending. And I'm sitting here going, who really wants to read that?
Yeah.
I do. That's the last thing I want to read about. So I knew, like, there's got to be a better way to write about what happens in just from a more emotional standpoint.
Yeah.
And I stumbled on you, I think, on Facebook, and just followed you, because at the time I like read your criteria, and I'm like, I know I don't meet the criteria to apply, which is totally fine. So I was doing your challenges for before Magnetize and Monetize, reading everything that you put out, going to everything of yours that I could.
Yeah.
And about a year after doing that, I'm like, you know what? I don't even think I'm still ready, but I'm just going to apply because I don't even know what else to do. And
Yeah.
then to my shock, I was accepted. I was like, oh, I guess we're doing this.
Yes, I love that. And for anyone who's watching who's like, I don't know if I will be accepted, just know that I will tell you if you are ready, you will be ready. And I have been very honest and have declined people because I know that they're not ready yet. So the best gift that you can give yourself is just apply and then see what happens. Because you
Yeah.
might end up following Angie's steps, which are wild. Okay, so let's just tell the people what has happened since you joined, and then we'll go into the things that you did to create those results, like so that they understand the magnitude of what has occurred in your life ever since joining the program and doing the work. What has happened?
Yeah, so one of the big things that has happened is my marriage has totally transformed. Like, that was just something that was totally unexpected. And I mean, my husband's just like, I feel like I have the woman back that I've dated, because there was just so many things going on that I had a job that was very stressful. I was bringing that home, crying every night. And he's just like, just to see you now and how lit up you are, the energy you have, he's like, I got you back. And so I mean, that's been the biggest change. And the kids are like, we're not scared to come up and give mom a hug anymore. We're not scared to be that thing
Oh,
that sets them off. And so, I mean, I would say those are like the biggest things, which, I mean, that alone was worth the investment. Like,
I love that. I had no idea that that was one of your wins. That is so sweet.
mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
I love that. That's like the thing that we don't even think you didn't even think you were gonna get out of the program,
Nope.
but like it changed your life. Okay,
Mhm.
well, let's talk about then what people are here because everybody wants to know, does this work? Like, I want to make some money. So tell us about your money wins so that people understand the magnitude of what has occurred. So like, what are these milestones that you keep on telling me on the calls? It's like
Yeah.
clients booking, like you have like an overflow of call. I mean, what are some of these wins so that we can paint the picture and then tell them how you got there?
Yep. So, I mean, in terms of financial wins, my Q4 2023, I made more cash than Q1, Q2, and Q3 combined. And
Amazing.
then I've started off January running at a faster pace than I'm running for Q1 2024. And I went from having no pay in fulls to having 4 pay in fulls up front within 45 days. I have to the point that I've gotten so full that I've really had to focus on my ideal clients. So I have a couple other coaches helping me with the revenue share. So now that's an additional income stream, which once again, totally not planned on. And so just so many things. I mean, it's just hard to keep up with myself. Like,
Yeah, you definitely have had a wild, like such an expansion so quickly, which is one of the things that I love because what we're working on is really stabilizing that success, stabilizing that in your body, stabilizing that in your reality, letting that be your new normal. And I think that's what happens when people, that's what people miss when they start, growing so fast. They don't know how to stabilize it. But that's a whole other conversation, right? Like the stabilization of growth is what we're doing inside of the Momentum Mastermind because you have gone through Magnetize, and so let's talk about your Magnetize experience. Okay, so what are the things that you did in order to create this result of having like Q4 2023 be more than all the other quarters of the year combined? Like, what was one of the first things that you did?
well, the first thing that I did was I really learned to talk about my offer because I just felt like I was very confused. And it's like, yeah, it's like, what does a financial coach do? They work with money. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
gosh, that's broad. And
Yeah.
so, and so it's like, okay, how do I really narrow this down and explain it in a way that it's like clear, it's tangible, it's not, not necessarily helping everybody because I can't do that.
Yeah.
And really just getting clear on that. And I remember one of the first times that you coached me, you were like, you have a coaching method. I remember being like, oh, no, I don't. And you were like, yeah, Angie, you do. And then I remember coming and I'm like, the next week, I'm like, yeah, I found it. And it was 2 words. I was like, oh, it does get to be this easy.
Yeah, yeah. And so what for everyone who's watching, what we're talking about here is how to communicate the value of your offer, both in the way that you write about it, that you talk about it on your sales calls, and also the way that you talk about how you're going to get somebody from A to Z. Like what's your
Mhm.
process? And those are all things that I help you uncover inside of the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. And by the way, I want to pause and just kind of go back to some of those wins that you made because I don't think people really understand. Every time that I have you on a call on a coaching call and I share and I'm like, hey, let's share some wins. You also went from having like consults that did not convert to now being so full with people who say yes that it almost overwhelms you and you're like, I don't know what to do with them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually had 2 leads come in that I needed to refer out. Now, one was for Spanish speaking because I don't speak Spanish, totally cool. And the other one was just someone who wanted a consult. I don't have any consult openings till February 15th. And so and so I referred both of them out and they both ended up signing with other coaches. And so so people are still coming. And I'm like, okay, we're just
Like
gonna make it work.
you did not have consults. Like you were in a dry spell and then you went from that to think. I remember when I coached you on you never thought that you could get people who paid in full. Like that was like no way. And I'm like, we're gonna get you paying full clients. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You were like, I just don't believe that that's gonna happen. I don't
No, I
and like let's talk about your belief around being a premium coach. Like I think a lot of people think they need to be like me in order to be premium. And you and I are very different. We're very different. And you are such an example of you don't have to look like me, you don't have to talk like me, you don't have to be like me, you don't have to do anything. You like it's we're focusing on you unlocking your own premium coach identity. And so tell us a little bit about what it feels like to be the premium coach that's in demand, that people want to work with, that it's like fully booked, overly like an overflow. What is that like? Did you even think that that was possible? And what was the pathway for you to get there?
I mean, I had a faint result. It was possible because last year I did a ton of consults, and so getting consults for me was never the problem. It was converting them and how I was talking about it. So I knew I had some of that there, but then like just sitting here going, can I really be the person who does this? And part of me sitting here going, well, I've already got people coming to me. So like, that's not the challenge. And that's a big one that's solved. And now it's just, okay, if I get them here, of course it's my job to convert them but not convert them in a way that's like, hey, you got to work with me because this is like the only thing that's going to work for you. It's like, no, like a way to be like, hey, I can get you here faster. I know you can do this on your own. And here's what it's going to take you to get there on your own, or you can come alongside of me for this investment and we can get there together faster and you can learn from all my mistakes. And just being able to explain that in a way that relates to them, but also widening the gap of what they thought that they needed to do, to be
Right.
like, here's part of what you see, but here's all the other parts of this that I see too, from a place of integrity.
Exactly.
And them just being like, oh, wow, yeah, I really do need your help to come alongside me.
So good. And that leads me to thing number two that we talked about, that you did to create the 65K in sales and more after, because right now you're in Momentum Mastermind and you're already crushing it there. We can talk about that in a moment. But what was the second thing that you did in order to create this amazing result?
I really leaned into the objections because I used to be terrified of objections. It's like, okay, if you give me an objection, you must not really want to work with me.
Mm,
And then that's like so not true.
yeah.
Because I like was based on some of the coaching you gave me, like thinking back on my own experience, I'm like, well, yeah, I've had questions, but the questions don't mean like objections or I'm not going to do it. And so really like getting clear on what those were and then starting to address them in my copy,
Mm,
and then also being able to communicate them on the call and changing my consult call in a way to be like, okay, let me give my proposal like much earlier in the process, like at the midpoint. So I have the whole second half of the call to just lean into the objections. And people like on the call, they'd be like, I don't have the money. And I'm like, okay, great. Let's talk about it. And they're like, what? And then I would just, being a financial coach, clearly I've touched on the money. So I have a very different angle with that. So I would just go through everything I've learned with that and unpack it. And once again, a way that's very full of integrity, very loving, very honoring. And just to have them see just a chance for one to really help them see what's keeping them stuck. But two, it's just another way to demonstrate my value.
yeah.
And so seeing the objections through that light instead of a light of, oh crap, I got to overcome another one of those,
Yeah.
game changer.
So good. And what about inside of Magnetize? What are some of the things that you learned there? Because people think that this is just a program to clarify your message, but really, what we worked with you is like your conversions, your sales conversions, right? So just give them a little bit of an insight of like what are the things that really helped you that are in the curriculum about that helped you with the conversions.
Yeah. I mean, there is so much teaching on belief. And as someone who has constantly doubted herself, constantly believes what everyone has said about her, is like, oh, all these people are confident in my ability, but yet I'm not confident in my own.
Mm.
And just really having to spend so much time on that. And part of me was really frustrated because I'm sitting here going, I have all these great resources for copy and sales and all this, and I have to have another coaching session on belief. Damn it. And at the same time, it's like, I also knew that was exactly what I needed because for me, I didn't need another strategy. I didn't need any more copy going. I needed to believe, like, hey, I'm worth the result. I'm worth having people pay me. I know I can go out there and serve them. I know I'm the best person to serve them, and really getting behind that. And then once that flipped, then it was like everything flipped.
Yeah, literally landslide. You've been on such a growth. Oof. Anyway, okay. So objections, and then what's the last thing that you did in order to really create this amazing result of 65K in sales?
I had to believe I was worth that.
Okay.
Because I've had just so many worthiness issues my entire life of, oh, I see all these great people do it, but it's not meant for me.
Mm, mhm.
And it's like, no, this is meant for me too. And one of the reasons I was drawn to you is I've always been a very bold and very direct woman. And people are like, well, when you're bold and direct, you're a bitch. And I'm sitting here going, it's like, I don't want to come off that way. Like, I still want to be bold. I want to be direct. I want to be very loving. I want to be very kind, but I'm going to be in your face. Like, that's just my style.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And you're very bold and direct as a coach, which is one of the reasons I loved you too. Because it's like, okay, I can see another woman who's coaching the style that I have. And also it's in a way where it's very loving, kind, but And, Juliana's going to kick your butt too. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yes, I will. I'm not ashamed of it. Like if you hire me as a coach, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna hold space for you, and we're gonna do it at the pace that is right for you. And I'm going to.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna. I mean, why are you paying me just to like cuddle you and be like, no problem. I'm not your best friend. I'm here to help you make money. So we're gonna
Right.
get there, right?
Absolutely. And it was exactly what I needed to be able to see that style and also see it in a way where I could unlock the style in me
Mm,
and get sense of like, okay, this is where I need to adjust. Yep, that time I might have crossed that line a little bit. But you know what? We're experimenting. So
yeah.
I got it wrong one day. Okay, great. I'm gonna do it again the next day and it'll be fine.
So
And just really being okay with like seeing everything as like an experiment and being like, okay, the foundations in the chemistry lab are good. So we want to make sure that we're just running an experiment, but we don't want to run the experiment in a way where we blow up the chemistry lab because that's not safe.
exactly. Yeah. You're so good at experimenting and testing, so that's amazing. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say, and the last thing that I want to share for everyone who's watching is that one of the benefits that you will receive out of being in the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind is that you are going to see me coach other people on a variety of questions that have maybe something to do with marketing or our marketing question, but it actually is a deeper, more emotional root cause question, and you will see me coach directly, clearly, lovingly, and you will walk away knowing what it feels like and what it's like to be a premium coach, to coach in a premium way. And that's a byproduct that I don't think a lot of people, I mean, I don't talk about it, but it is just what you're saying. You walk away having more confidence in your ability to hold a high standard for your clients, be a loving coach, and know what it's like to coach somebody to really create the results that they desire without you feeling like you need to please, you need to be liked, be loved. But you having still a really great bond with your clients. And so I just wanted to mention that because I think a lot of people don't really understand that little benefit, and also the sales, because I don't talk a lot about sales. I'm all about the marketing thing, but I wanted to take that opportunity to really speak into that. Okay, Angie. So you created 65K in sales. Let's talk really briefly. So you graduated from the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind, and now I invited you to go to the Momentum Mastermind, which is my high level mastermind where I help coaches go to 1 million. So tell me a little bit about, tell the people a little bit about what has happened there so they get a little taste. And why did you decide to continue working together?
Well, I'll do the second question first. So I decided to continue working with you because my results in Magnetize were just beyond anything I thought was even remotely in the realm of possibility. And part of me is like, why stop now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, are there things I could have gone and done on my own? Well, yeah. And how many mistakes would I have made? How many things would I have to trip up? How long would it have taken me? How much would it have cost? And instead, I'm like, why not take the fast track?
Yeah. Exactly. Amazing.
Yeah, to
Okay.
do
So
that. And
what?
then since I've been in Momentum, I mean, I have, made back half my Momentum investment already, which for me is just like mind blowing because that's like more than like I've ever made in just a short period of time. And just seeing more confidence, seeing more like getting clearer on my boundaries, clearer on my processes, and just really seeing some of the gaps from Magnetize start to close
Yeah.
is just like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, we do get to close these and
Mhm.
it gets to be successful.
So good.
So, yeah.
I love it. By the way, she just started last month, so it's been 1 month and she already made half of her money back in 1 month. So that's why.
Mhm.
Okay, Angie. So thank you so much for sharing with everybody. And anything you would say to somebody who's watching these and who's like feeling like the way that you were, maybe on the fence, can I do it? Can I not do it? What would you say to somebody who's on the fence?
I mean, I totally get that you're hesitant because, I mean, when I applied to work with Juliana, I mean, she was virtually a stranger on the internet. And to make that investment to like someone who is a stranger and to have that trust was terrifying. And I remember even like after making the investment, I freaked out just because I was like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And it's also a great way to be like, if this pull is something that you've been feeling for a while, there's a reason that you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And you're feeling it because you're ready for this level of work, even if you don't feel ready. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
did not feel ready when I applied. I thought I'd be rejected.
Yeah.
And but then I still trusted it to be like, okay, yeah, yeah, I guess the poll was not to get more information. I guess the poll was to start.
100%. Exactly. So good. Well, thank you, Angie, for being here. And for anyone who's watching, I really want to invite you to give yourself the gift to apply because you never know what can happen. And I never invite anybody that I don't believe is going to crush it. So if you get an acceptance email from me, you will know that I believe in you. I know that you're going to crush it. And just give me all the details in your application to make sure that I know everything about your business because I will ask you to put down a deposit because we get so many applications that I had to only filter them by those of you who are really committed. And I take my time, I read the application, I really feel into it, I really check the links that you give me that I ask you for. I really take my time with that. And once you get accepted, if you get accepted, those $500 of the deposit are going to go towards your investment. But if we decide that this is not the right fit for you, for whatever reason, that is going to be refunded. So it's a fully refundable deposit, just so you know. And right now we have, actually, I'm not going to mention the bonuses because this is going to be an evergreen video. So we have bonuses, and for whatever those bonuses are, I want you to check them out or send me a message because we're always changing them. So this is the last week to get the current bonuses, but maybe you'll be going to be watching this at some point. But there's always bonuses available. So send me a message if you want to know what those are. And Angie, thank you so much for being here. This was so amazing, and I'm just so proud of you and so honored that I get to be in your corner, seeing you grow. It's like you're such a premium client and such a premium coach. Everyone's just lucky to have you in their world.
Well, thank you so much, Juliana. The honor is all mine to be in your world because when I met you on the internet, I had no idea it would turn into all of this, and I am just so grateful.
Oh my God. I love you so much. And of course, we're just going to keep on growing. So thank you for being here. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I love you all. Go ahead and apply, and I'll see you on the application form. Bye.